They drew a red line for Iran. But that night, Iran didn't just cross it, they erased it completely. It was a moment that caught the world off guard, a bold move that changed everything we thought we knew about power, control, and the fragile peace in the Middle East. For years, many had believed that Iran was contained, restrained by sanctions, diplomacy, and the watchful eyes of global intelligence. Yet when the line was crossed, the true extent of Iran's capabilities and resolve was revealed in a way that stunned not only the West, but the entire world. The buildup to this night had been simmering beneath layers of tension and calculated threats. The world had seen proxy conflicts, regional skirmishes, and political brinkmanship, yet there was a silent understanding, a fragile agreement that certain boundaries would not be breached. Iran had been pushing, certainly, but it was always assumed that it would stop short of directly confronting the might of Western powers. That assumption was shattered in one decisive strike. When Iran moved, it did so with precision and planning that suggested a level of preparation years in the making. This was no impulsive act or reckless gamble. It was a calculated message, a demonstration of power that was designed to shift the landscape of Middle Eastern politics. The targets were strategic, the timing deliberate, and the effects immediate. Military installations once thought secure were hit, and the sheer audacity of the strike sent shockwaves through capitals from Washington to London to Riyadh. As the missiles flew and explosions lit the night sky, the reaction from Western powers was one of disbelief and scrambling. Intelligence agencies, trusted to provide early warnings, found themselves exposed and embarrassed. How had Iran pulled off something so significant without detection? The silence from military command centers was deafening. The protocols designed to prevent just such an event were suddenly exposed as insufficient. Political leaders convened in emergency meetings, their faces grim with the weight of the situation. The options on the table were few and fraught with risk. Retaliation risked escalation into a full-scale war no one wanted. Diplomatic channels, already strained, seemed unable to contain the crisis. The very power that once projected dominance was now grappling with uncertainty, forced into a defensive stance. On the ground, the impact was tangible. Local populations, caught between power struggles far beyond their control, braced for repercussions. Regional allies recalibrated their positions, weighing support and opposition with heightened caution. The balance of alliances that had long shaped the Middle East began to shift, subtle at first, but unmistakably real. The repercussions extended far beyond military and political spheres. Global markets reacted, with oil prices fluctuating wildly amid fears of prolonged instability. Trade routes and energy supplies, the lifeblood of the global economy, faced new uncertainties. Nations far removed from the conflict watched closely, knowing that disruption in one corner of the world can quickly ripple across continents. Yet amid the chaos, Iran's leadership saw a moment of opportunity. They projected strength not only through weapons but through narrative, framing their actions as defense against aggression, a stand for sovereignty and dignity. It was a story that resonated with many across the region, even as it alarmed others. This dual reality underscored the complexity of the conflict, where one side's victory could simultaneously be another's crisis. In the weeks that followed, analysis poured in. Experts dissected the strike, its planning, and its fallout. Questions dominated conversations. How had intelligence missed the signs? What did this mean for future conflicts? Could this embolden other nations to test their own limits? The event became a case study in the evolving nature of modern warfare, where technology, information, and strategy intertwine in unpredictable ways. Military experts debated the lessons learned, emphasizing the need for adaptability and foresight in an era where conventional rules no longer apply. Diplomats called for renewed dialogue, hoping to avoid escalation even as tensions simmered beneath the surface. The world watched, waiting to see if restraint or retaliation would define what came next. Amid all this uncertainty, one thing was clear: the red line was gone. Iran had not simply crossed a boundary, it had erased it, redrawing the map of power in the Middle East. This act forced a reckoning with reality, one that challenged assumptions, exposed vulnerabilities, and demanded new approaches to security and diplomacy. And while much remains unknown, and the full consequences of that night are still unfolding, the event serves as a stark reminder of the limits of control and the power of resolve. It highlights how quickly the balance can shift, and how the actions of a determined few can alter the course of history. Want me to expose what intelligence agencies missed? Drop a comment. The oversight is shocking.